There is lots and lots of various information about narcissists out there. However, there are much more cynical and dangerous people exist. So today I would like to talk about Machiavellianism, which is one of the personality traits of a dark triad that is comprised of narcissism, Machiavellianism and psychopathy. So stick with me, as by the end of this video you are going to know what exact qualities Machiavellianists have. I will give you specific examples of how this behavior manifests in relationship, so you can easily recognize it and protect yourself. My name is Daryna and I'm doing my psychology postgrad in Australia. Let's get started. Machiavellianism in psychology is used to describe a negative personality trait characterized by the absolute absence of moral principles, selfishness, callousness, cynicism, and skillful manipulation of others. Their actions and behaviors are often driven by a desire to achieve their own goals at the expense of others. Can the person exhibit only Machiavellianistic traits? Yes, it can, but most often all traits in the dark triad are interconnected. For example, if we put in a hierarchy those three, classic grandiose narcissist. Please, this is an important remark because there are many types of narcissists, and for example, grandiose narcissist and malignant narcissist, there are two different types of narcissism if speaking about the level of damage they can do to society. So, if we are talking about the hierarchy, classic grandiose narcissist will be at the bottom with their self-obsession, need for admiration and so on, but Machiavellianist will be a bit higher in the hierarchy because they are manipulating people and using people for their own benefit. And then psychopaths with their violent tendencies will be at the top. So technically, not every narcissist is a Machiavellianist or a psychopath. However, every Machiavellianist is a narcissist, and every psychopath is a narcissist and a Machiavellianist. I hope that's clear. It's just insane how many different types of all these people exist out there. Alright, let's continue. Why such a name? In psychology, this term comes from political science and originates from Niccolò Machiavelli, who was born in the 16th century and was an Italian Renaissance political philosopher, historian, diplomat and writer. In his work The Prince, where he discussed political manipulation and power strategies, there was a phrase: the end justifies the means. So if in a book they describe strategies to keep a government strong, in the case of psychology, a government is the life of a person itself, a life of Machiavellianist. So to achieve their goals, a person like that is going to use people around them, lie, cheat, deceive, manipulate and so on and so forth. Let's have a closer look at the context of a relationship. What exactly is happening? By the way, if you are getting value from this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me as a new creator to develop this channel. So what are those exact traits that Machiavellianists demonstrate in interpersonal relationship? And the most prominent one is disregarding social norms or rules. They think that they are about the law, and if they want or need something, there is nothing that can stop them. For example, if the girl is underage, the man who shows Machiavellianistic tendencies will still go and have sexual intercourse with her, because he thinks he can. And it is not the case similar to as psychopaths or sociopaths will act, where there is no impulse control. Machiavellianists are very calculated and cold, and if they want to do something, they will do this. The next one is prioritizing self-interest and personal gain. If, for example, you are in a relationship with someone like that, and say you have a brother who is having drug addiction problem, your partner is going to sell drugs to your brother even knowing that A, he supports your brother's addiction, B, this will absolutely devastate your parents, And C, this will upset and shock you because he knows how difficult this whole situation is for you. So their personal financial gain will be more important than any feelings or any morals attached to this problem. The next one is lying or manipulating others for personal gain. And for example, if you guys do not live together and if your partner is high on the Machiavellianism trait, there is absolutely no problem for him or for her to call you and say that they are sick and they need you to cook for them and bring a hot dinner for them. Even though they know that you are tired, you've worked a lot and so on and so forth, but because they do not want to spend an extra $20 on Uber Eats, there is no problem for them to manipulate you to do what they want. The next one is using charm, charisma and deception to influence others. If you guys are remembering the movie The Silence of Lambs, there was a main character, Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Yes, he was absolutely like full-on psychopath, but as I already said, every psychopath is a Machiavellianist. So he demonstrated this criterion really powerfully. He had his natural magnetism about himself and how skillfully he could trick these guards to escape the prison and create this whole schema. And he almost made that young detective lady speak so respectfully and almost admire his charm and charisma. But to be honest, this trait is shareable by all personalities in the dark triad. They all have this social face that everyone admires and get tricked with. Ted Bundy, Adolf Hitler, Napoleon, they all had this charisma that others were absolutely smitten with. Next one is seeking out positions of power or influence. One of the most famous nowadays master manipulators is President of Russia. If you guys are going to have a look at the history of how many wars he started and how many people are dying from both sides, Ukrainian and even Russian, he does not care, because ends justify means. I'm not entirely sure, but I think he even mentioned before that he is a fan of the book The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. Interestingly, when I was studying political science in Ukraine, my first degree was a Bachelor of Political Science. We learned this book in my second year of university, and it was called The Governor, not The Prince. Anyways, just a fun fact. The next one is engaging in exploitative or unethical behavior to achieve one's goals. This is exactly the case where you shared some news, or maybe you guys as a couple recorded some intimate video. Believe me, if they need to use this video for personal gain, they absolutely will. Next criterion is lacking trust, empathy or concern for the well-being of others. This one is easy to explain. If they are sick, you are going to be all over them, caring for them. If you are sick, well, good if you will receive a text message. Or if they will show some concern, only so that they can remember it later on to ask you for doing something for them. Next criterion is having alexithymia, or the inability to understand and identify emotions experienced by oneself or others. Next one is feigning emotions to manipulate others' perceptions of oneself. This is exactly the case when they tell you sad stories about their childhood just to make you more involved and empathetic with them. Sometimes these stories are getting really absurd. Say they can say that their parent died, so they need an X sum of money to go to a funeral, and so on and so forth. So no moral whatsoever. Next one is forming alliances or relationships primarily for strategic gain. This criterion is very popular across all dark triad, and I would say it is a necessary component. In more severe cases, it's not just forming alliances, but making your friends your enemies, just for extra fun. Next one is concealing information or true intentions to gain an advantage over others. Real life story, guys, no joke. Two people have been in a relationship for many years and have plans together. However, a guy is not really financially invested and neither really makes any moves towards building a family. However, he keeps saying that one day this will happen. Eventually, the truth was exposed. During these years, he was investing in properties and goods overseas with the intention that after a few more years to get back to his home country and live there happily ever after. So he did not care that he was constantly lying, that he was reassuring another person just to make sure that he was comfortable enough in the meantime until he will reach his goal. And one more criterion is engaging in strategic thinking, planning, and calculated risk-taking to achieve one's goals. What can this entail? For example, if a girl is high on Machiavellianistic traits and her goal is to marry a rich man, she might go to the bank, take a credit card, buy all the expensive clothes and brand shoes so she can come to elite places and seem like she's one of those people. So she calculated that those risks are worth investing into. Of course, after it implies all the other qualities such as lying about her story, manipulating, crying, and so on. So write in the comments section if it was interesting for you to find out something about one of the bright characters of a dark triad. Share your insights and stories in the comments section. And if you want to know what the difference is with a narcissist, please hit here to watch a video on what exactly narcissistic personality disorder is according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders. Look after yourself and your loved ones, and I will see you in next videos.